It was incredibly difficult whittling down this shortlist and in this particular category, because just about everything on it deserved to win. There were some very, very strong titles, and consequently the judging process was extremely long, I think record-breakingly long, because lots of books were in contention for a long time. There were lots of favourites of mine on here. I admired some of the debuts. David Solomon's My Brother's Superhero, a very funny book. Ross Welford's Time Travelling with a Hamster, I enjoyed. There were brilliant books by established writers. Frank Cottrell Boyce's Broccoli Boy, The Amazing Broccoli Boy, which I hugely enjoyed. Wonderful historical novel, Shirley Hughes' Whistling in the Dark, an amazing thing to break out and do. A beautifully produced book like Chris Riddell's Goth Girl and The Wuthering Fright. You know, a master of YA, writing Patrick Ness, writing The Rest of Us Just Live Here. It was incredibly hard, but I think one of my favourites was Sarah Crosson's One, but I hesitate to single it out because there were so many that I liked so much. All of them really. How to Train Your Dragon was the culmination of the most extraordinary series. Cressida Cowell's achievement in the How to Train Your Dragon series was remarkable. And of course, I like the winner. Pugs of the Frozen North is a wonderful collaboration between two people at the top of their game. Sarah Mcintyre is an illustrator who absolutely knows what she's doing and does it beautifully. Philip Reeve has really got into his stride. This is actually the third book that they've collaborated on. And I would say, although I've enjoyed them all, probably the most successful. A moving story which is an adventure and has humour in it and fun and wordplay and so on, but also has another layer of significance. It's sort of about how to play the game properly, it's about friendship, it's about people's loyalty to each other, and about her grandfather's dreams coming true. So it has a certain unexpected emotional depth, and also a lot of pugs, if you're fond of them. Emily Mackenzie's style is delightful. That sort of casual style that looks as though it's spontaneous and actually is extremely skilled. What we liked about it was that there was an awful lot to look at, an awful lot going on in it, and an awful lot to engage the eye in the detail. There was humour, and we did really, in the end, like the idea that it might promote a whole swathe of people knitting in independent bookshops. The judging process was an absolute delight, because a lot of people who are passionate about children's books and knowledgeable about children's books got excited about a lot of books, and we thrashed it out, quite painfully in fact, because there was a very strong case made for every book on the shortlist, on both shortlists, it was passionate. It wasn't, there wasn't a great deal of conflict because everybody agreed about the merit of so many books. The hard part was singling out winners. But it was immensely enjoyable, just the conversation. It was like being in a really good book club. It's incredibly hard to say because books influence you at different stages in your life. I can remember things that were favourites when I was young, from a very first storybook where I can still visualise all the illustrations on every page. It was an anthology, and I think it was called Storyland, it was a selection of illustrators. That was the kind of early book that makes its mark on you, and you never forget. Illustrators was very powerful for children when they're young. Later, I loved, I was passionate about long poems. I used to memorise T.S. Eliot's Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. Could still do quite a lot of it for you. So that was a book that I cared about. But other things that were long poems, like Ludwig Bemelman's Madeleine. This is certainly a golden age of children's literature. I think we are just extremely fortunate that the standards of illustration are extremely high. I think there are writers who have understood that writing for children is a genre like any other, and that you might turn your hand to that. So they're properly skilled writers. And I think also publishers are recognising that production values matter in an age of digital books. So as well as having wonderful things to read in any format, we also have some very beautifully made books. The packages are lovely, the jackets, the illustrations, the quality of the paper, the printing. And of course, picture books can do more than they used to be able to do. It's extraordinary how almost daily you pick up a new book and you think, here's a new talent. And the established talents are writing at the height of their powers. We're very fortunate. Well, I love independent bookshops on principle. At the moment, of course, I have a special investment in my new local bookshop, which is where we're sitting, which is Inc. at 84 Books in Highbury, on Highbury Park, which is a lovely, friendly bookshop full of, you can always find something that's interesting to read for any age, a wonderful selection, and you can get very good chai latte. Other bookshops that I'm fond of around the country include Much Ado Books in Alfriston, run by Kate and Nash, and fantastically imaginative bookshop. I love Mr. B's in Mr. B's Emporium in Bath. Again, beautifully run bookshop, wonderful. And of course, I very much admire Mainstreet Trading in St Boswell's in the Borders, run by Ros.